Hello, everybody, and look at that cheer right as we go live from Oklo. Some Oklo love right there. That's I was trying to do like a below, like a love from below, like Oklo, but I've got nothing. Somebody else want to take a stab at it?
Nope.
No, just
just gonna leave you hanging.
Leave me
there.
dangling like a dingle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You see,
below.
My daughter has her globe.
Below.
My daughter has a globe over here. She has a blanket, and there was a ton of Legos over here I kept stepping on. And I was on conference calls all day today on Daddy Day, where I shouldn't be working. And yeah, that was fun. That was fun having a kid on my lap the entire time. Like, don't mind her. You know, fun day. Hope everybody else's week is going well. Hope everybody's surviving COVID-19 as well as Josh did. Hi, Josh. We're just going to keep airing out your dirty laundry because you're our only example of success in Florida. Ever.
That's just for Florida in general.
Yeah.
It's just Florida in general.
Not related to COVID.
Fucking sick burn on Messi is all I'm saying.
I also assume Tyler's from Florida. He says Ohio, but I get this Florida vibe off of him.
Nah, Midwesterners, me and you, Tyler.
You can have Wade. Like, you can have Wade.
I love Wade.
We'll take Wade.
Wade's
we'll
with
take
us?
Wade.
Yeah, but like you don't need Tyler. Like you can upgrade.
Yes, I do need Tyler.
Upgrade to Wade.
Don't you fucking dare tell me what I do and don't need.
No, I didn't say what you do or don't do. I was making a suggestion because I'm your friend and I care.
I want both.
Well, hell.
Oh my god. A girl can't say anything on the internet.
What is it? Is that it? There we go. All right, moving on. Hi guys, welcome to Aurorum Thronekeeper Season 1 Session. God, at this rate, are we gonna have a Season 2? 6, I think. Honestly, like I was just kind of joking about, the day was a little crazy. Could you please remind me where we left off? What's going on?
Oh God, who knows anymore? Honestly.
I could go check.
Well, we just got to the lake. We traveled into Yovance. We dealt with a whole shenanigans bit in Yovance where some big fat guy in a tent decided to be a dick, and then we stole one of his slaves by being polite.
We have Ka with us now.
That's right. And now you
Ate
guys
a
are
really
traveling.
nice dinner.
You're traveling along the north edge of that lake that you told is predominantly a place without many slaves in it, which is kind of nice, actually. Cool.
Yeah.
So, I think we literally left off with you guys are just continuing to travel, and you're going to make it as quickly as you can up to Renet Slav.
And during downtime, I'm teaching Ka to read.
Wait, during downtime you're teaching Ka how to... Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
That's, yeah. It takes a long time to learn to read.
It's not that long for children. For adults, it takes a while.
Yeah.
It's the way the adult brain doesn't absorb information. It's a little rough. So anyways, let's I suppose just continue our travels to where it is that you're going. I have 0 of the various PDFs open right now. Do apologize about that. So if you guys want to share them with me in the chat, the Discord. There we go. Discord is what I wanted to say. That'd be awesome. And thank you for the host.
Just stunt?
It is just stunt.
Okay, it's just stunt. Okay.
There's several other ones I usually have open, like the companion and whatnot. But
I put some of those in the Discord chat, but I can throw them in.
Thank you, sir. All right, wagons. That's right. Wagons move about 16 miles. Oh, do you have your cart still? You do have your cart still.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
About 16 miles a day. There we go. So I think the music's probably a little too loud. It sounds loud to me. There we go. Don't want to make it obnoxious. And you guys are going to continue traveling forward. So the idea is to go from where you are, which there's a small town there, just a little cute town that's there, all the way over to Renetslav. The name of the town didn't matter when you guys are kind of coming through it. Like I said beforehand, there was less of an inn or tavern or whatever it is, more of like a speakeasy. But you guys don't really care too much about these places along the lake, do you? There's nothing here you're looking to get, procure, or anything like that.
Once more with feeling.
I don't think so.
No, perfect. Then let's continue traveling over to where is it you're going? At 16 miles a day, 2 more days to get you to here, and then 40. So it'll take you about 3 days to get over to the mouth of the river that you're then going to follow up to Renetslav. So why don't you guys go ahead and roll me a survival check. This is, I know yours is a little bit different. I'm going to try to open up those links. Again, I do apologize. I'm a little off my game right now.
I think we were using perception last time, but no,
perception
navigation.
tracking.
It was intelligence navigation, maybe was
Navigation. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's pretty easy navigation on this, anyways. And do any of you guys have that table that I usually use? That's the has like that whole list of like it's like cheat sheets.
The big badass cheat sheet. Yeah, hold on.
What is that? I think that's the one I just sent.
That's the kit. It's in.
Yeah,
it's
the
in.
Oh, is
Game
it?
Master's kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
And it
'cause that
is
way I can
also
call it
in.
quick sales.
It's in Twitch chat as well.
Perfect. Again, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
So,
Of course.
just intelligence roll for navigation, then I guess. But
I guess that's me.
Can I aid her?
no need.
Do you need to?
No.
It's an
no.
easy roll, and it's Doxy rolling, so we can clearly tell that that's amazing.
I'll hurt her if I help. So.
Doxy's roll there is almost as amazing as Captivating Chaos. Thank you very much for the 2 gift subs. So the you guys easily are able to make your trek along the river's edge there. Now, Doxy, like I said, it's a really easy roll. You crushed it, which means you're actually able to save a little bit of time with the navigation, so on and so forth. Getting there, you're able to find like most of these towns just aren't worth spending any time in. You have enough supplies that if you just avoid them, you'll be good to go. The other thing I do want you to do for me is just because obviously you're keeping watch, keeping guard as you're traveling, if you could just go ahead and roll me kind of like a search or spot check. I'm looking for it right now. It's perception.
Searching.
I guess seeing.
Seeing.
Does this have to be me?
You'd almost wish it was. It doesn't have to be. Actually, anybody else could do it. Perception. You almost wish there was like a perception, like guard or watch or something like that.
Is this a you want all of us to be doing it while we're?
No. Just whoever's primarily focusing on it.
That would probably be Oscar.
It would be.
Yeah.
16.
Oh, yep, got you. Bam, there's chat for you guys. Thank you very much. Who was that? Snaga.
Naga. Yeah.
And Tyler.
Oh, and Snaga, yep.
Oh, you did an incredibly good job on that one, Oscar. So once again, it's one of those things where as you guys are traveling along, not only are you able to travel along the north edge of this lake as you go, you're kind of able, with your combination of being able to see areas that may be a little bit questionable, and be able to pick little shortcuts and whatnot as you go. Avoid any concerns, any slowdowns, any potential banditry ambush and whatnot here. Now, let's be serious. If there's ambushes inside Yovance, it's going to be typical banditry that you'd find in any nation that's rather large, or a group of recently escaped slaves that are just trying to get their hands on anything to survive. But you can avoid all of those scenarios pretty easily. Another thing I do want to point out that you notice is that the lake to the south of where you're traveling, and I can bring this over to the map so others can see it as well if chat cares to do so. The lake where you guys are traveling, that actually is a... there we go. It actually has a ton of boats on that lake that you can see over there. But most importantly, one of the things that catch your eye, Oscar, that's a little funny, is at the tail end if you travel. So again, you're traveling pretty much over to here. At the tail end of this travel over here, some miles south of where you are. So we're talking like a good 7 to 8 miles or so into the lake. You can actually see little pops and whatnot happening out there. And you can actually see that there's a little bit of violence that happens off and onto the lake between boats themselves as they're like attacking each other. For whatever purpose, who knows? Honestly, who cares? You're just trying to bring yourself to wherever it is that you're going. As you guys are also traveling to the river's edge, was there any focuses or anything that you're trying to do, or just 100% trying to keep low profile, bringing yourselves into the border of Paradel?
I think low profile is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, we're trying to be super low profile.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point.
So as you guys end up traveling into getting there, like I said, saving some time. So I originally said 3 days. It's actually a little under 3 days. It's kind of like as you're going to, like partway as you're sitting down for lunch on the third day. You're literally sitting down for lunch at that river's base, and then you're going to start, after that lunch or whatever, start traveling to the north. One of the things that you notice is that there's a group of riders that actually travel kind of like as you're sitting there for lunch on the other side of the river. They're actually riding pretty hard past you guys. They might not even have noticed you. Maybe they did, it doesn't matter. But they ride pretty hard past you guys, hooking around the bend as well, up the river too. But nothing really stands out about them aside from the fact that they're like really hoofing it. Eventually you finish your lunch and you get back into your cart and continue making your trek. From here, I just need another survival check or whatever it's called, intelligence check their docs.
Sure.
Scott, about that group, were they all uniformed in clothing, or were they just a ragtag group of outfits?
Ragtag group. I mean, they didn't look like they were like paramilitary or anything like that.
What?
Wait,
Why isn't it giving me a total?
From the API, it was so bad.
I thought that my total was 4 for a second. I was terrified.
No.
I was like,
That's
how did that
impossible.
even happen?
Rolled a 0.
Doctor, we're going to take that result, but could you roll that again for me? Your 14 is the result, but roll that again for me.
Sure.
Uh-oh. You're gonna have to reset the API.
Yeah.
It's funny that
It's the same result, too.
Weird,
Josh, this
yeah.
is literally the same thing that happens with the APIs that you write. Sometimes in like a 5e game, I'm like, oh, it worked 2 seconds ago, and then it stopped working afterwards. So, hey!
It's just lag.
Should we all disconnect and reconnect, maybe?
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's just their servers because it's
Okay.
a Thursday night or whatever.
Sure, sure.
And to be fair, a lot more people are playing online now.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, if the code was written a little bit cleaner, a little bit more streamlined, maybe it was a little bit more, it could happen a little faster. But
I think our code is sexy.
okay. Well, since none of us wrote it, I don't think any of us can really take credit for that. But continuing, you are able to kind of circumvent a little bit along that river. So you see that little bend that happens up in there. Doxy, you had seen a map beforehand.
So
You had seen a... That's a racist joke, Doxy. I don't appreciate it. So you had actually seen a bend in the river right there that's so tight that you end up just kind of cutting across the trail over there and not having to follow along. I just feel like all conversation happening right now is not very clean. We should just not be playing. We should just cancel the session. Everybody go home.
Podcast style. Let's go.
Podcast style. Clearly my brain's not here. It's been crazy. Push through, Scott. Tyler needs you. So you actually cut through that, and as you come past the river again on the other side, funny enough, there is, even though there's clearly a trail that you had followed coming up this way, you're not the only one to have had this idea. When you come across where the river crosses back a bend ahead of you, there is no bridge where you would expect to be a bridge right there. Would your characters actually just kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? When you ford through the river, or would you stick along this edge of this bank and travel up?
how big?
We must go around.
Yeah, close. You're close.
It's not just clothes. The fact that we have a cart. Trying to drag a cart through the river is a terrible idea.
Oh, come on. Oscar could just like shoulder it like Atlas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't want to drown in the process.
Well, to be clear,
Nor drown the horse.
Yes.
to be clear, the river at this particular river here is not a particularly strong current, which is a good thing because, as you kind of seen, there are boats that go up this river, so that the current is not so incredibly strong that it's easy for boats to go up the current and into Paradel. So it's not a very hard current going down. It's also not a particularly wide river. So you guys could actually ford it if you wanted to. It's just whether or not it was worth it.
It is also not exactly the pinnacle of stealth to ford a river.
You're in the middle of nowhere right now. There's nobody watching, but obviously you're not wrong if somebody is watching.
I have I'll take your advice. Oscar, you probably moved troops more
Also,
than...
my clothes.
That's a fair point. Yes.
It is going to look more suspicious if we cross the river. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I just realized Rena's here. Hi, Rena. We gotta play more. Why am I doing this like it's a controller? We gotta play. It was like confusing myself. We gotta play more Two Crowns. We gotta play more
You
Two Crowns.
cheater. You.
Fucking catch up, Scott. We've all already flirted with Rena.
Yeah, it's been a while here.
You know, why don't you guys just run the Tyler, you take over. You could be DM. I'm just gonna mute myself and sit here, and Tyler can DM the session from chat, and we'll all just kind of react to it. And that's just how we're gonna play today. That's where we've had to settle.
The delay is going to be fun.
Already sent him the Zoom code.
All right, so you guys choose to stick to this bank. As you're traveling up to the river, you actually do eventually come. It's funny enough that it's only about an hour and a half, 2 hours later. You eventually do come across a bridge that allows you to cross the river from one side to the other. Fun thing about that, though, while there is a bridge that crosses from one side to the other, there are parallel forces on the other side, and there are Yovant's forces on this side. Now, we're not talking standing armies. We're talking guards that are just checkpoint for that side and for this side.
Griselin, I guess it's time for you to do your thing. Is there anything you want us to do to support you?
What's our story?
Trying to get out of a shitty life? I don't know.
Oscar just kind of shrugs.
Probably should have talked about this before we
We
got
do
here.
still have cause homespun. Somebody might don it. And we could act as though this is a
Oscar.
transaction.
Oscar looks at himself in that moment because Kaz.
Extreme size differences from Ka.
I mean, you're a slave though, so it's not like your clothes would fit you nicely. It's not like you're going to be in tailored clothing.
Do you think that I would fit into those clothes without ripping them?
I don't think anybody would complain.
That is not the point.
You're muscular. You're built like a solid purchase that is worth the travel.
Well, but
I can
Peridot
be
doesn't
that.
treat the slaves the same, though.
That's true.
We shouldn't. They might not look at us favorably if we look like we're slave owners from Yovance. Remember, Yovance, it's a very different tactic than the Perrin do.
How much space is between each checkpoint?
It's literally bridge, couple of guards on this side, couple of guards on that side.
How long is the bridge?
It's about a half dozen guards on either side. Because the river is not very wide, it's only about 25 feet across. And there's a little like outpost on either side, so guards don't have to stand out in the elements. But the guard post itself is like a small, like maybe like knee high of stone, and then wood above that, and a roof on top. And the funny part is, the bridge is the same. Either outpost is the same construction on either side, because it used to all belong to one country, and now it's between two countries.
Why don't we just walk by?
Yeah.
What if we're questioned? We're crossing a border.
Yes. And we just say we're crossing the border.
Give me a moment to think. Stretch your legs.
Sure.
You might need them.
Oh. All right. Oscar gets off the horse because he was riding, and he'll actually bring the horse's reins over to Griselin to hold it. Just hold on to him.
Can I have the full map, please, Scott?
You mean of the entire continent?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate you, bud.
Of course, gotcha.
So we are like here.
Yeah.
God, I love this music.
Pretty sure we're like on this road specifically.
Oh, you guys never flipped your cameras. We have, because I fixed the overlay before. Let's just check something really quickly.
Did you use the old one?
I did fix the overlay, but somehow it switched back to the old one for the combat screen. That's friggin' weird.
All right, so
I'll fix it later.
the capital of Yovance is RK. Correct?
My apologies. Capital of Yovance
RK.
is yes. Yes. Which is very far to the south.
All right.
And Paradel is Osto.
Which is to the east.
Very far to the east.
Yeah.
The capital of Adir is Hodgwen. Right, chat? Right? Right.
All right. We can proceed.
Okay. Do you want us to back you up in any way?
He's my bodyguard. You're my companion. And Ka is our slave.
Lucky you, Laszlo, getting to be her companion.
We could be lovers. Do you want to do lovers? We could do lovers.
You say Ka is our slave, and you
Yes.
can see he immediately looks like the carpet was pulled up from under him. Like he was expecting it the entire time. He's like, oh, that makes sense. And he
It's
like
theater, Ka. You are
he
not our
doesn't-
slave.
He doesn't know what that word means.
It's an act. It's pretend.
Okay, he doesn't know what that means.
I think it would arise questions for someone like me to be with such a fine gem.
You stop that. Traveling companion. All right.
Okay. I look at her. Are we all dirty and whatnot?
You've been on the
From
road for a
travel?
while, so everybody's dirty except for her because, I mean, let's be serious.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do this
She's
a
the
couple
dirtiest
of times.
one of all deep down, but it doesn't show.
Yeah, but that's a filth people admire.
I'll just, while we're waiting, I'm gonna do the arcane servant. It'll just clean up and dust the vehicle, and so we don't look completely trashed.
Okay. So it's literally just clean, but I mean, it's not like prestidigitation, which has the.
No, it's not. This is like literally like someone's dusting, so it takes a little bit of time.
It's like unseen servant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Off my face.
I'm sorry. You just see him. He waves his hand around, and you just see like dust start lifting up in parts of the wagon. Like, so we can not look like such a mess. Okay.
You guys go walking past the bridge. Go walking across the bridge here, and as you're gonna walk past the Yovance guards, roll me a perception empathy check if you have it.
Regular perception for me and bad. Relying on you here, Docs.
Sorry, I had to make a joke in chat.
Okay.
Relying on Doxy.
So, Doxy, as he walks up, he's like, what's the reason for your passing? What do you got in the cart? But while they're like, okay, this is a thing going on, you actually read off of him. He doesn't care at all. It's like a TSA agent, you know what I mean?
He asked for a reason, though.
He asked for the reason for your passing and what do you have in the cart, but he's clearly not even paying attention. Like a
Going
TSA
home.
agent.
My slave.
Roll me a communications. Very simple. DC, because you don't have lying. Yeah, bluff or whatever. You crush it. And he's like, all right. And doesn't look at the others and just lets it go. Like, doesn't care at all.
Toodaloo.
You go walking by and across the bridge. Bridge itself is, funny enough, not very well maintained considering all the details. One, it's a bridge that goes across a river that has boats that go up it. So the bridge itself doesn't move by any stretch of the imagination. It's a little tall for a bridge you would typically have for a river this wide. It's a little bit taller, so boats can get by. But you're pretty sure you've seen some of the masts of the boats in the lake would not be able to come through here. So maybe not all the boats do come through here. Whatever. So anyways, you guys are making your way across the bridge. Oh God. As soon as you get to the other side, at first one of the guards, the parallel guards, are standing there, and they immediately look over to the others, and 4 of the other guards join them. And then you have 5 parallel guards standing there at attention, and you can clearly tell without any check, they're looking to see who it is that's coming into their nation.
Sure.
So you go walking into up to them, and the guard stops you while you're still on the bridge and says, "Halt there before you come into Paradel soil. Who are you, and what do you bring?"
She throws her hand in front of their face for them to kiss it.
So you just like, and
I wait for them to kiss it.
oh, so you don't say anything. That is your communications check. Love it. Roll it.
I hope she gets a flirt. I hope she.
Hope so too. I really hope so too. This is the time.
Shit.
It's not a flirt.
It's not a flirt. Let me just because DCs are based off RPs. He looks at your hand and says to you, "Are you supposed to be royalty?"
In a way, yes.
He goes, "All right. Who are you, and why are you coming to my homeland?" His tone
Luthira.
softened. His tone softened. He's kind of like looking at your hand like he doesn't know what to do with it.
I'm Luthira, daughter of Luther. His vineyard just made a very big sale. I delivered that sale. I'm on my way home. Stop at the bank in the capital, but surely you've had our wine.
And so he says, "Oh, you're Paradel. You're Perrin."
Aye,
And he says, "And they are?
with me.
Do you have any paperwork for your the goods that you've transported from here to there?"
I've never needed paperwork for these things before.
Communication check. Funny enough with that,
Flirt!
you can toss your fart cannon to Oklo because he doubled your stunt.
Ooh, baby.
Let's do it.
Can you flirt twice? Is that an option? Can you flirt twice?
Let me take a look at my options buds. Doobie-doobie-doo-wappa. My name is Angela.
Anaconda theme song.
It's always
Every
just
time,
always
every
stuck in
time.
my head.
Sways the crowd, flirts with them, and another thing.
And another thing. Oh my goodness.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sways the crowd. You are so interpersonal. Your interpersonal efforts are so effective that they spill over onto others in the area, and you affect one additional person of your choice past your original target. You may use the stunt multiple times on the same roll, which you don't necessarily need to do. 2 is flirt, so you roll a communication seduction versus their willpower self-discipline. So you can roll a second communications right now against my self-discipline.
What?
I don't know what's happening to me today.
Oh no.
He's not having it, huh?
Yeah, he's you flirt, but it does not. Yeah, man in armor doesn't do it for you. Sorry, boys.
Fuck.
And finally, another thing. You managed to weave a second thrust of conversation into the primary interaction that called for the test. Your description supports it, so I'll allow you to RP that out. Sway the crowd, flirt, and another thing.
Surely our taxes are paperwork enough. We're quite wealthy, if you didn't catch that.
And another thing? That is your another thing.
Yeah.
Apologies. Yeah. And he says, I'm sorry. I don't mean to point this out, he says, and you can tell he's a little bit younger, so you don't know if he's Perrin or human. You think he's human? He says, are you a citizen of Jovencia or all of
Paradel?
All of it. What's your family name?
Oh, we dropped it. Our wine speaks for itself. It says right on the bottle. Surely you must be kidding.
Do you have a... He looks to the others.
We
and
just
he's like,
sold all of the bottles.
the others are just completely like, I have no idea what she's talking about. And these others that you have with you.
My slave, my bodyguard, my companion.
He looks at the guy and says, oh, okay. And this actually, you can see the tone and almost like the subject completely changes. You're not going to be able to bring that in here. He says, pointing at the Ka. You're not going to be able to bring that in here. Their slaves are not welcome in Jovencia. We don't do things the way they do things. So unless you're looking to hand him over to the government, it's not allowed here.
Sir, I assure you, we're stopping at a bank and going home.
No. I don't think you understand. Maybe you've never brought slaves through Jovencia before. But in Jovencia, we don't do things the way that the rest of Paradel, and certainly not the way Jovance does. That kind of slavery is not permitted, outside of Meshtez, of course.
You misunderstand. He's an indentured servant.
Doesn't look like one.
He's wearing his fancy clothes.
Yep. But he's also super malnourished, has like a crook back, like he looks like somebody who's been abused for his entire life.
Ka?
Ka looks like broken and sad. Huh?
What's the last thing I asked you to do for me?
Read?
I rest my case, good sir.
Roll another communications check. Okay. And these two here are citizens of Paradel as well?
Aye.
Which province?
I don't believe
can I
I've
do
ever
it?
asked.
You know it's illegal to pass across borders between one province and the next if you are don't have the appropriate citizenship, right?
Oh, we pay a lot of money to have those arrangements made.
He opens
Probably your salary and half of his.
He opens his mouth to start trying to like argue with that statement, and as he does that, one of the other guards nudges him, and he looks at him. You guys can actually roll a perception empathy check on that one. Okay, both of you guys get that.
Sorry, one sec.
Yep. Yep. All of you very quickly get. He nudged him when she said we pay to. He's like trying to argue the word of the law, and the guy nudged him. And he's like,
He
what?
wants money. He wants a bribe.
All of you guys noticed that he just nudged him the way he just did.
Oh, I see what's going on here. I did make extra profit on this batch, so what do you say, 2 gold?
One of the other guys chimes in, as he's like, excuse me, one of the other guards from the other side chimes in, each. Each?
How many are there?
There's 5 standing in front of you, 6 in total.
She laughs. 1 each.
You know what? Bargaining.
I'm trying so hard. I'm so sorry.
That's so good. That's much.
Once again, that same guy, he like he has his face so screwed up and angry as you're literally trying to bribe him, and he throws up a finger like he's going to take a step forward. You see his hand start reaching down towards his sword, but gets completely thrown off balance as the first one that nudged him kind of like steps in front of him, like literally like stepping in front of him, knocking him off balance. It's just like, I'll have to, and the other one's like, yeah, gold piece each sounds wonderful. Is there a sample of your wine you have with you by any chance?
I just sold it all.
Oh, that's a shame. I would have been great to try it, but, you know, I certainly am happy to hear your family's doing well.
Look for Luther Wine, just outside the capital. And I'll press 5 gold coins into his hands and say, looks like I've paid your salary twice this year.
He looks down at it as you say that, and he's like, there were 6 of... Never mind. As like he looks up and sees whatever expression you settle on your face against it. 18 on your bargaining.
You're good enough at pressing. Maybe you could come and press grapes.
He thinks for a moment and says, I only have 6 months left.
Aw.
Another gold piece to him. That one's for you.
Oh, you melt his heart. The other guy who literally just starts like going to chime in again. One of the other guards comes over and literally loops his arm around his and says, "Buddy, come over here." And they start.
Was he actually knocked down? By the way,
No, not knocked down. Like,
okay,
like stumbled up. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say like Oscar would have offered him a hand to help him up if he had fallen. So I was just gonna.
The one that like loops his arm in his leads him literally into the guard station. So like now there's 3 of them in the guard station, 3 of them on the outside, one of them holding an extra coin. And as you guys start to slowly move past, they come over and they're like, "What? You got an extra one? You know you're splitting that, right? Like, what about conversation you hear happening?"
We'll be going. Have yourselves a nice war.
So nice war, and you guys are finally able to make your way through the that almost didn't go well.
It really almost didn't. You were very lenient with me, and I appreciate it.
And you are because that was from, my apologies, where you had stopped here. Cut. You're able to go a little bit after where that bridge is, maybe about another 3 miles or so, because the sun's starting to get low in the sky. Another 3 miles or so before you stop, unless you wanted to like force march, push yourself a little bit further to get as close to Renetslav and away from that area as possible.
Is there a good place to hide?
You mean like off of the road,
like
or whatever?
trees or cliffs or like anywhere that we could just hunker down?
Yeah, this area, it's not like it's forest, and it's not like it's big hills or anything like that. It's typical plains where there's like a small patch of trees over here, a solo tree there, lots of shrubbery or bushes over there, some hills. It's kind of sparse, so you might be able to find that. If you're looking to do that, why don't you actually roll me that same idea, the not the navigation, what's the other one? And then we can finally call it for this
Perception?
day.
Perception seeing is what you were looking for.
Oh god, I hate that it's seeing.
Is there like a scouting?
Yeah, there should be something more like that. Like
There is a perception searching, but I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
that also
Or
feels
investigation.
wrong.
Yeah.
It is technically seeing.
It is.
That's just so nebulous.
Intelligence navigation is what we were using, so we'll go with that one.
Sure. Just a note, we may want to push on. We just did tell 6 people who are probably about to get off shift that
Fucking
we are
woof,
very
dude.
wealthy. And even though you gave them gold, that doesn't mean that they're going to be satisfied with that, and they may come looking for a fight.
I'm more
You
worried
could
about
take
the
them
other.
one-handed, Oscar.
I'm sure I can. I don't want to scuff up this armor before we get through more checkpoints.
That being said, Doxy, with your 2 stunt points, you can easily use that to find not only a spots where you guys can settle down, but also advantageous positioning.
All right, let's do that.
So in case you do get attacked, he can feel comfortable. I don't know.
Not let's do that without discussing, but Chrisellen will suggest we can hide. Head out when there are different guards.
Looking at like what you've picked out, he'll just kind of nod and he'll say, "Yeah, okay, actually, this is actually fine. Looking at the positioning here, I can get a good spot."
She wonders if you're talking about the location
No
or
fire.
her backside. No. Sorry. Bad jokes.
Why not both? But yeah, no, it's this will do. Thank you.
Okay. So you guys settle down for the evening, whatever it is. The next day you're actually making it into Renetslav. It's important that you guys got a little bit of rest before you finally got in there, because I don't know if there was any amount of additional, because it's going to take not even half your day's travel to get there. If there was any additional kind of like preparation thing you wanted to do, you know your mission, you know what you're trying to do, right?
Laszlo, is there anything in particular we should be looking for when we get there?
Well, we could look in the markets. We could look at for components. We can see what the component, like the availability of certain components, for the Arcane Congress spells. If they're short, then that tends to mean that there might be someone of interest there that can use has magical ability.
Then we'll need that list, because if you go asking for that, they'll wonder why you are asking for that. Because if you can do those magics and you aren't part of the Congress, that makes you suspicious.
I could also just say that I'm looking for a vanity magic of some kind. A love spell, an illusion spell.
What kind of spells are of option there, Laszlo?
Based off of what we have seen so far, they're mostly offensive, except for the censor.
Which diplomatically could be valuable, and if we continue on with a winery as the location, keeping an eye out on a large piece of land with a censor of sorts might not actually be out of the realm of normalcy for someone of wealth.
I mean, I think it would just be easy enough for me to go with Chrysalin, and she could play her part, as in wanting fancy magics or whatever to show off her wealth or worth, and I could just look at certain ingredients. And I mean, we wouldn't have to say specifically what items. We could just look and see what they have available.
Well,
We know
vanity
how the
spells are
shops
usually
work.
delivered on scrolls, aren't they?
I wouldn't know.
And in terms of components, do we know how shops operate here? Do they tend to put things out on display, or do they tend to have it more of a, you tell me what you need and I go and acquire it from the back?
This is the first time I've ever stepped foot in Peridot.
I'm just saying we might want to get a little bit more information maybe on that before we devise an exact solution. But I don't disagree with you. I'm just suggesting that there are things that we need to pay attention to.
Also, Chrysalin, if we hit a tavern or something, maybe if we could find a camps along the border, maybe get a better idea of where they are.
Right.
Oscar if I were you, I wouldn't be the one you shouldn't ask for that. Your intimidating presence is,
I really shouldn't be here until we're actually ready to strike.
Oh, no, Peridot's
No.
made of multiple people. Don't worry about that.
No, what I mean is that I am not the most subtle.
Yeah, about that, are we going to talk about what happened in the camp?
What about it?
Which,
The big guy, the jerk, the one that Chris Ellen saved us from being causing an incident, the slaver.
What about him?
You changed everything about you walking into that tent. You were a completely different person. If it wasn't for Chris Ellen's quick words, I don't know if we would have gotten out of there without a fight or survived.
we would have survived. Oscar doesn't run his mouth where his muscles wouldn't run harder.
Oscar kind of like, you can see him not tense, but kind of his posture adjusts. It weirdly enough almost looks like he's relaxing more, but in a way that tells you very clearly that he's being more guarded, because he's almost more open when he's upright. What do you want to know?
Is it going to be a problem? I mean, I'm not digging into your personal life, but we're going to see a lot of jerks like that. A lot.
Yes, we are.
You can't want to cut all of their throats immediately.
You can want to. You just can't behave like you do.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
You should want to.
Well, that's never going to change. I will always want to, with people like that. With people who go out of their way to belittle others.
think you're underestimating the magnitude of what Chrysalin's job is going to be in Yvonne's.
No, I'm not.
Once more
This is
with
why I'm
feeling.
saying now, I don't know that I'm in a good spot to be involved in any of the conversations.
What if we work on it?
Once more with feeling.
Chrysalin's a great teacher. Look at Ka. He already knows a few letters.
Oscar stifles a smirk at that and just
Once more with
says,
feeling.
He can do his name. Show them your name, Ka.
A few letters. A few letters.
a couple, really.
He grabs the device like he's about to stab somebody in the back, like E Brute, or whatever it is, and he goes a straight line down, because totally it's English. Absolutely, we're using English characters, but he draws like I imagine people do in Northern Canada. It draws straight down. And he does like another one to the side, but then he does like the other one. It comes through, so it's almost like looks like an X, but like missing one of its legs and with a straight up and down. And then for the for the A, he does an A perfectly except upside down. So it's like a V with a line through it.
See? He can do his name.
Yes, I'm looking right at Oscar, trying not to laugh.
I would beam with pride at him,
Yeah.
though.
Yes, yes.
Oscar looks actually super composed after that, not like he's stifling anything, and just says, "It's very good, call. Well done."
But I mean, you don't like. Chrysalin has a great point. You can want to, just don't show it.
I just shouldn't talk. I can look imposing, I can look upset, I can look pissed off, I can look whatever I'm meant to look like if I'm meant to be a bodyguard. I'm meant to be intimidating in that sense. I just shouldn't be having those conversations. I don't want to be in those conversations because I will want to slit their throat, and I will come across like that.
And by the time we see this through, I imagine you will slit several of their throats.
I can count on it.
That's intimidating.
Let's just try not to get ours slit prematurely.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't going to let either of you get hurt in that situation.
The problem is, Oscar, I don't want to kill a slave.
I wouldn't have killed any slaves either.
I don't have that choice with my abilities.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do, because you choose when and how to use it. And if you can't do that, and you can't make that decision in that moment, then you don't act, and you leave that to me.
And what if that
Period.
means you're deaf? What does that mean?
If it means my death, then I have stopped you from having to make a terrible decision in your life, and I am okay with that. That is a cause worth dying for. 100% of the time.
I respect you, and I think that's very noble. But if you died because it would be me killing you.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. And you can't take that on.
I think it's not that black and white, Oscar. I think that if we can act to save your life, to further our movement, because face it, we are very important in this movement.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some tough decisions.
You
There's
don't
going
say-
to be some casualties, and that sucks. It's awful. But we can't count on a spotless record. That's
We
unrealistic.
don't kill innocents.
And we won't try. We will never do it on purpose.
If you have powers that Laszlo has, if you make the decision to fire when there are innocent people around, that is a decision where you are killing innocents.
Think of how many more innocents will suffer and die if our movement is disbanded.
All I'm saying is if there is a situation where you're worried about whether or not you have to kill a slave to try and save me, don't worry about that. I'm stubborn. I'm not going anywhere. And if I do, then I do.
I'm here to heal.
Many.
And I'm here to talk.
Yes.
Hopefully it will not come to that. But
I'm
if it
hoping-
does, your life is of the utmost importance, and that is an order from the Queen.
My life is for Amalta.
Then we will listen to the Queen. That is the
Yes.
end of this discussion.
But I am also here to make sure that one individual does not make decisions that put innocent lives at risk. Period.
He's right. Griselm, there's a reason why he's here, and it's to kill me.
I'm not here to kill you.
No, not directly.
I'm here to
But-
help guide you, Laszlo. That's it. That's it.
I'll do my best, Oscar, but I'm not gonna just stand by. The slaves, they don't have a choice on if they're fighting. But just because a wildcat is attacking you doesn't mean you can't kill it.
You
Just because it doesn't know better.
You do what you can to subdue.
We preserve the mission at all costs. This will free many innocent lives.
It's not a calculation.
Unfortunately, Oscar, to the Queen it is.
It's not a calculation. Period. And Oscar just kind of shrugs off, and at this point, he's walking away from the conversation. That's
I think you're
Laszlo.
gonna- Yeah.
You were right. You were right.
I think you're gonna have to teach me some of your healing magic.
Sure.
Yeah, I killed him, but I brought him back to life right afterwards. It doesn't- right? It's the Mulligan? Mulligan?
I'm sorry.
Quick lore inquisition. Would vanity magics exist, for one? Would they exist on scrolls? How would I see them used amongst the elite in Ascaria?
Yes.
Are they like as seen on TV product style? Like they don't really work, they're just sold to
No.
sad fat housewives?
You've played Dungeons and Dragons of multiple editions. You know that there's all sorts of magics, that transmutation, illusion, so on and so forth, depending on how long it lasts, and blah blah blah. Funny thing, in third edition, there's a lot more of magic like that than fifth, which is way more dumbed down. There's even like for zero level bard spells that give them like they can splat always have like +2 to diplomacy checks or performance checks and stuff like that. So yeah, those kind of spells do exist. How long they last for, that's a different conversation. Not to mention there's also alchemical products and stuff like that that you can use too to give you little bonuses. So I think we talked about beforehand, was that? No, it's a different campaign. Literally like perfumes and whatnot that you can use to give yourself bonuses to persuasion checks.
But scrolls will burn up after you use them, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so that would be a popular way that the like nobles and stuff in Ascaria would cast a love spell or whatever.
So love spells are a little funky. There's no such thing as magical love. There's just compulsion effects that confuse the person for a little while, which means that it's not consensual, even if they do physically say yes. So there are love potions that exist. Charm spells, all that stuff. Absolutely, yeah.
But
Enthrall
the
is a
thing
great
is,
one.
like, I'm looking for a reason to inquire about scrolls.
Yeah, all that stuff, sure. And the questions that you're asking is something that you could bring to somebody as a non-understander of magic, and they'd be like, well, it's like if you walk into a hardware store and you're like, I need the thing for hitting stuff. What's the thing for hitting stuff? And they're
Okay.
like, hammers. And you're like, no. Hitting different stuff. Like,
It just feels like Chris Ellen would be familiar with that kind of thing, given the circles that she's in a lot, right? Like she would see sad fat housewives using these love spell scrolls on themselves to look hot to
there's
a noble
actually
at the party or whatever.
There's actually specifically, I think it's a first level spell or second level spell. It's called Wizened Appearance, and there's a flip side of it, Youthful Appearance. Pathfinder spell. I can't remember what level spell it is. You can Google Pathfinder Youthful Appearance or whatever it is. Either way, it's a spell that lasts for I think a whole day, and it literally just makes you look a whole age category younger. So you can bring that youth back into you.
Sure.
And I think it might even be a transmutation spell. I think it's less of an illusion and more of like you literally are younger for like a day. So, it's one of those.
That's creepy.
Yeah, hey, Granny.
That is creepy.
That is really creepy.
They try to do it on TV, and then, we got HD, and now we're like, no, you just look like a monster. But, good job, cable news.
Like, did they use actual clay on your face?
I'm not even lying. I cannot watch cable news in high definition. They look like monsters to me. I'm like,
so many concealer lines, dude.
It's so
many.
It's so freaky. Like, and then if you watch, sorry, tangent for a second. If you watch Stephen Colbert and he does that like in a box, like that little snippet thing where him and somebody else like go into a box and they like have a conversation. The camera is so close and the definition is so high. All you see is all the wrinkles of foundation. You just see the tone differences in the foundation. You're just like, like, no thanks. Anyways, speaking of dum-dum, hi Will. So you have this fun conversation, and one person who was talking about how he can look however he wants looks quite dour as he storms off and you guys make the rest of your way into the town that we will now have to visit when we come back from our first break. So I will see y'all shortly. BRB. And transition. There we go. And then we press this button here. Okay, cool. And then this one. And bye-bye.